Namaste. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Naresh Bana, and with me this afternoon is Mr. Kuldeep Singh Dhatwalia, former Principal Director General of Press Information Bureau of India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And today we are going to discuss the skill development in India. Is it a PPP success story? As we all know, India has overtaken China as the most populous nation. And today, we have the maximum youth under 35 in the world. Indian population is likely to peak at 1.69 billion in 2054. With 66% population below the age of 35, India has world's largest youth population and home to a vibrant and growing youth population. With over 382 million individuals in the age group of 10 to 24. This demographic dividend in terms of youth population is a key factor that is expected to propel economic growth of India. As the vast resources of young people enter the workforce, it could really create a demographic dividend of substance. With that as background, may I now request you, sir, to throw light as to how we are not yet able to harness the entire potential of this youth dividend.
Dr. Bana, as you mentioned, India has already surpassed China and we have the largest number of youth in our country. Only now the issue is how do we utilize this particular resource?
Yeah.
Now, whether they are trained, whether they are ready for taking up a particular job, this is a big question mark. What is happening is if you go through the statistics, where the formal training is given to the youth or where even the non-formal sector they are being trained, it is totally inadequate. So what we have to do is we have to fill in the gap in training and use this particular youth resource appropriately so that we use it as one of the assets or one of the products for our country.
That's very well said. Now, with the those problems in sight, what is your suggested broad plan for optimal engagement of youth? Do you relate it to National Education Policy 2020 in some way?
Yes, in fact, the government has planned in such a way that academic education plus vocational training and use of this particular youth for employment and nation building. These are interlinked issues.
Okay.
Now, what we have to do is that we have to provide vocational training so that those who are underemployed or who are looking for the job, they go for work or they get the job which they are looking for, and the areas where we do not have skilled manpower. So first we have to train them, and secondly we have to engage them or employ them in the nation building.
That's true. That's true. And here I would like to add that the goals, as they have mentioned in the National Education Policy, is that by 2030 there should be 100% enrollment of the youngsters, and by 2035, 50% should have gone through the vocational training. And further, with the engagement at an early stage of life, the education can help them to broaden their worldview beyond mere bookish knowledge.
Right.
And with that, I would like to ask you as to, do you also see that we have sufficient or adequate preparation in terms of men, that means faculty, and material in terms of training aids and time and other resources which are needed for such a humongous scale of skilling which is required for this large population?
You see, I would like to give you here my experience. Unfortunate part is that we are not giving the due position to our teachers who are the nation builders. What is happening is that some of the persons are choosing this profession as a job which they are not interested in because they have exhausted other alternatives. So what I feel that this is the profession which should be given top priority from the government side, and those who volunteer or those who opt for the teaching profession, they should be dedicated teachers. What happens is that if teacher is interested in his subject, he can generate interest among the students and he can motivate them. But if you are under compulsion in this profession, which to my assessment, some percentage is there, I think we would need the dedicated and interested faculty which can guide and motivate our students, create interest in them, and provide them the proper training and guidance. So that is what I see.
Yeah, as I understand, you have rightly flagged that the skilling or education or vocational education has to be accorded the best priority or the right priority. And for the faculty, for the teachers themselves, our selection has to be very correct. Because if they are not correctly selected, how are they going to be implementing the skills or teaching or training the youngsters?
You are very right. You know, when it comes to the profession choice, during our time, whether it was the engineering or the medicines, which were the opted professions, and if you are not getting those, then you are switching over to teaching.
Yes.
It should not be like that. Now the time has changed, even though whether the MBA came in between, then the computer applications, and now is the time for the IT. But from the day one, those who are going to be in this academic line or in the teaching line, for them, there should be incentives in such a way that they should not feel that this profession is better or that profession is better. I should try for those professions, and if at all I am not getting through those jobs, then I can go to the teaching. So I think that is the one which is one of the factors which is quite harmful to the teaching, if I may put it bluntly.
Yes, you're very right. Now, coming to the spearheading this effort,
Yeah.
do you see that public-private partnership, as we see in the course of other infrastructure development, is playing any significant role in skill development in the country?
You see, this concept of public private partnership in the recent years is doing very well. It is picking up, and there is a lot of potential where the private sector joining hands with the public sector take care of the requirements of the trainers so that they can give proper training to the persons who really need it. And I think there is a lot of scope, and I am happy to say that in the recent past, PPP model is working very nicely, and we hope that it will do much better in the years to come.
Yes, as and I would like to add that this is PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana, where there are various formulas, formats,
Yeah.
wherein the infrastructure is provided by the government, the public authority,
Yeah.
and the private party brings in trainers and subsequent placements and curriculum, and together it is producing very good results. There has been this now more than 12 years of National Skill Development Council, and then there is this tie up with the NASCOM for IT and other skills.
Right.
So together the results appear to be good, but there must be some gaps. And would you like to highlight any gaps?
First of all, the priority of the government of India to set up a Ministry of Skill Development.
Yes.
It started from there.
Yeah.
Then the National Skill Development Council came, and under this the state councils, and now in the field we have central government as well as the state governments doing lot of training, vocational training programs and other programs are there. And I think the government has taken up this particular area which was not attended to in the previous years. But there are some gaps which I would like to mention. When we make policy, you see, we just take it as a holistic picture, and this will be the training model for the country. So what we have to do is we have to identify the requirements of training at the regional level, what those people are really needing, and try to make arrangements. To give you some example, say for example farmers of a particular area, if they need training in agriculture or in horticulture or in floriculture, we should be in a position to provide them that training. If the local people put up a demand to the regional office of the central government or of the state government, then we should not cut out by saying that this is not approved program or this does not fall into our ambit. So there has to be a coordination between the state agencies, central agencies, and we should study as well as provide the models to the local people what they need, not force upon them that this is what we have, please take it. So I think those gaps need to be bridged.
I think that is very well said, that it is the need which should dictate what skill is required.
Right.
Rather than running the skill development institutes and then sending out those skilled people in the market to fetch for themselves a particular job for which they may not have been trained for.
Right, very right.
So I think a lot of emphasis has been paid on that in the recent statements by the government and maybe the Prime Minister when he spoke from the Red Fort. So I'm sure the skill development is going to be taken up in a right perspective. And PPP, do you foresee any role for the smaller scale PPPs also in this?
In fact, the new startups,
Yes.
there these opportunities with the private investors or the private companies, we have to encourage those people and help where the gap is. Otherwise, what happens is that the requirement, the government specifies that under the PPP program or social corporate responsibility, you have to do this. So there is again a area where we need to coordinate. We should fulfill those responsibility as a challenge depending upon the requirements of that area. It should not be that government has asked me to spend 5% or 3% of my total resources on the corporate social responsibility. What should I do is whether it is 5% or 1%, it should be useful as per uh, as per the requirements of the local people.
Correct.
So I think that model will work and it is doing well, but it is required to do better.
I think yes, more and more policy and financial support has to be rolled out,
Yeah.
so that more and more skill development institutions and vocational colleges come up, and the youth, they don't have to look over their shoulders when they have to decide on training or upgrading their skills.
Some of the companies are really doing very well. What they are doing is they are not only providing the training, but subsequently they are providing the job also to these people. So
Yeah.
what's happening is that these boys, when they go back to their village, they are also fetching some unemployed or underemployed youth, getting them trained with those resources. And I think this is picking up, and in the years to come, it's grow faster.
Yes, as you mentioned, I have come across many a big corporates which are successfully running their own training institutions. One of them is L&T,
Yeah.
which is, I think, one of the leaders in creating their own requirement of skilled people.
Right.
So they have various training academies, and for most of the work which they are doing, they are training those people there,
Right.
and it is coming out to be very well. And I think many of the corporates are doing that, so that they not only they find the right skilled people for what they need, but also there is a total complete cycle, picking up the person to training him to putting him in the job and then taking care further.
Right.
So that is a very good model which can be replicated around the country, because even agriculture sector, which was a mix of formal and informal training,
Yeah.
is now needing, because many of the youth who are not taking up agriculture, uh, many of the skills are being lost. So those who have to be employed there, at times they are not skilled.
So that is
that
required to be improved.
yeah, that needs to be taken care. And India
Right.
being an agriculture major dependent country, so we have to ensure that the skills not only are upgraded or trained, but we don't lose out on those age-old skills also.
True, I agree. I fully agree with that.
So, would you like to give any message to the youth as far as skilling is concerned?
I will only say this thing that do what you are interested in. If you are thrusted upon a job or a training in which you are not interested, try to avoid that. Because in the earlier generations, the system was that what you are being told, you will do that. But in the present generation, uh, it is the need plus it is the environment around you which tells that if you do the job which you are interested in, you get the better results. So I'll request the persons that government is providing the opportunity, corporate sector is coming forward. Please go for the best training and deliver your best. And I have seen some of the boys who are really doing multitasking. You know,
Correct.
it is not a job of 8 hours a day because the remaining 16 hours you are not going to waste. So you can do the alternatives. What is happening is in our country, we had certain restrictions. If you are in the teaching profession, you can't do the tuition work. If you are in the medicine profession, you can't do the extra thing. If you go to the other countries, it is the utilization of your expertise. If a teacher has the potential to teach more, so why should we restrict him that only for the working hours you will and remaining? Even if you have potential, you will not teach.
Yeah.
As a doctor, you are willing to work under 12 hours, 13 hours a day. So I think such things need to be looked into, and I am sure the government had been reviewing it from time to time. And let's hope that what other countries are doing, why they are excelling so well. So the reason is that they are not wasting their human resource. Here is a question mark that why do our best brain go out? And the government has now the emphasis that we will bring them back.
Yes.
Very good incentive, and they will also come back. And many are coming back. But the only thing is that first of all, why should they go out? That is first question. So I think we should provide the environment. And as our Prime Minister had been saying, there is nothing bad in going out. Go pick up the good things outside, come back, contribute to the nation. I think this will work and this should work.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
you
you.
for your message to the youth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, for being with us. I'm sure it will be useful, and very soon we'll be with you with yet another interesting episode. Till then, keep viewing. Namaste.
Namaskar.
And